right, thank you very much. So my name is Abigail Mwigai. I work for the Nairobi Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, and I'm a senior network management officer, where I work on establishing and developing an elaborate mass rapid transit system for the Nairobi Metropolitan Area transport for the Nairobi Metropolitan Area that comprises of 5 counties, that is Nairobi City, Kajiado, Kiambu, Machakos, and Murang'a, yes. So I have a master's in transportation engineering and a postgraduate diploma in innovation for change for public transport and a bachelor's degree in civil engineering. So I am passionate about sustainable transport and traffic engineering, and my career interests at the moment are in policy development for sustainable and inclusive mobility. So we all know that public sector refers to all institutions and organizations that are owned and operated by government. They exist to provide goods and services to the public using public funds. And some of these services include education, health, water, and sanitation. But most of the time we find that public transport is overlooked, and yet we need to move from one place to another efficiently so as to have access to all these other goods and services that we may need. So we need to realize the fact that public transport is indeed a service that needs to be provided by government and regulated in one way or another for it to be successful and to serve the people efficiently. So why do we need government in playing a major role or a stake in public transport? First of all, we need government so that it can ensure that we have availability of all modes of transport for everyone. For instance, in Kenya, we find that we choose to use our personal vehicles because we find that that is the mode of transport that is best available for all of us. So we have that in the morning when you wake up, you want to go to work or to one destination to another, you ask yourself which mode is most reliable, what is the ease of transfer from one mode to another, and what is the integration levels? Like, can I easily move from one mode to another? And we find that the answer is no to this question. And that's why we choose to use our vehicles. So government needs to come in so that in the morning when I wake up, I can opt just to use my vehicle, not because the walkways are not there, not because the cycle lanes are not there, not because the public transport is not available to me. So government needs to come in and make all modes of transport available for everyone. Secondly, we need government so that they ensure that public transport is safe and affordable. This is because we find that sometimes, most of the times when we have road carnage, most of the people, the casualties are from the public vehicles because the vehicles are not up to standard. And also affordability. Most people choose not to use public transport because it is expensive. So in the morning when you've planned maybe to use 200 shillings to move from one place to another, and something like, for instance, it rains, we find that people within the public transport sector, the operators have hiked fares. And so you're not able to plan, and this service is not reachable for everyone. We also need government in public transport to ensure inclusivity for everyone and people living with disabilities, the elderly and children. In our public transport system, we find it very hectic and difficult to board a vehicle or to disembark if we have some kind of limitation, because there are so many steps to get into the vehicle. We have people who are not correctly trained how to treat people with disabilities. We also have inadequate passenger information system in our country, and people living with hearing or visual impairment find it very difficult to know which route and which mode of transport they can use. We also need government involvement so as to promote human rights and equity. At the moment, you're providing a lot of space for the private vehicle, and yet it only comprises of 20% of modal share within the country. So with government's involvement, it will ensure that we provide enough infrastructure for everyone, starting with the pedestrians who are the vulnerable road users and the cyclists, going on to public transport system, and then lastly, providing for the personal vehicles. We also need government involvement so as to promote sustainability. Only government can encourage a shift towards renewable energy and environmental friendly modes of transport by developing policies that promote this agenda. Transport is the second largest contributor of greenhouse gas emissions, and therefore, if we have a shift to green energy within the transport sector, we will actually save the planet. So public sector and transport in Kenya, we've made a few strides towards gender inclusivity through the establishment of the Nairobi Metropolitan Area Transport Authority in 2017, which oversees the development of an integrated, sustainable, and efficient public transport system within the Nairobi metropolitan area that comprises of 5 counties. That is the Nairobi City, Kajiado, Kiambu, Machakos, and Murang'a counties. So what are some of the things that NAMATA is going to do? NAMATA is going to undertake an elaborate transport plan and survey so as to determine the travel patterns of each and every person and collect data that is also gender-based. This will help the authority to now come up with the best routes for everyone, keeping in mind that we have also women who are using these routes, and also come up with a schedule that best suits also the women and people who provide care to some of our people who are living with disabilities or some of the challenges. We also have a fare policy that is going to ensure that we have set fares that are good and acceptable by everyone so as to promote affordability within the public transport sector. We'll also have stations. This will also have stations that are built within a particular area based on demand. And it will not be just a matter of placing stations and stops just anywhere. These will be informed by data. We've also seen the signing of MOU between NAMATA and Flone initiative. This will provide training to matatu operators and show them how to treat women and how when they are at stops. Like for example, Mr. Mkabana said that the doctors go to school for a period of 7 years before they are allowed to touch patients. Teachers also go for training before they are allowed to go and teach our children. We have also engineers who also go to school for a period of 5 years before they are allowed to go and start building infrastructure for us.
Allow me to very, very quickly give a recap of what was talked about today. If you're able to get Jacqueline on board, we should. If not, we might decide to give her a little bit of opportunity to finish her presentation tomorrow. But in the meantime, today's conversation, being day 2, focused on scientific research studies that had been conducted by different speakers from around the world. Now, the crucial role of research and data was emphasized. It was noted that data was not only to help push research forward, but also offers crucial insights that can be reimagined into solutions. E-mobility was also a topic of discussion with presenters looking at how gender could be leveraged to increase mobility uptake. Now, the evidence presented showed that women are still not well represented within the transport sector, especially at the decision-making table. The data gap was identified as one of the culprits for this. One of the common recommendations of the day was use of data for transport planning initiatives. Now, we're going to give a comprehensive report tomorrow morning before we begin day 3, which is also the final day of our WTA conference. And we're glad you're keeping us company so far. Jacqueline, asante sana for staying put and allowing us to take so much